This podcast contains some magical adult language. Listener discretion is advised. And sorry, Mom.
I'm going to Disney World. I'm going to...
Whoa! You are not Mickey Mouse, you're a rat.
Rat smack! Besides, they're tourists. What do they know?
Hey there, rat bastards. Welcome to Rat Castle. This is a progressive chat about Disney magic without the pixie dust. I'm Uncle Dave, and with me today are Nathan.
Oh, hello.
Sarah.
Hi.
Janine.
It's so glad to be, it's so good to be back. I'm out of
So glad to be
practice.
good to be back.
It's so
You're
glad
out
to
of
be good.
practice.
Great, good. Yeah, love it. Yeah, happy. Okay. Yep.
And Victoria.
Hello.
All righty. This has been a hell of a week, everyone.
Yeah, to say the least.
To say the least.
Say the least. We're
Yeah.
going to power through anyway. Bad for everybody. We all know what's going on in the world, so let's talk about some weird and fun stuff instead for an hour and take our minds off the hellhole that is this country at the moment. So, and if you're not clear of our politics from previous episodes, you can fuck the hell off, by the way. So
No, if you're not clear, now you're clear. If you don't like it,
you don't
then
like
can
it,
do that. Yeah.
then you can go do that. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't want someone's ignorance to be the reason they get cast away.
I can't wait. I can't wait for the user mail that says something like, you keep politics out of your podcast. Just do your podcast. And that's what.
Just talk about Disney. It's for everybody. It's what Walt
Yeah.
would have wanted.
It's
Yeah.
almost
Oh my God.
it's almost like if progressive is not the second word in our
Yeah.
podcast synopsis.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, sorry, I was feeling fiery there. We are. I'm a nice guy, really. Let's start out with Disney theme parks, and starting out on the East Coast with Disney Worlds. Janine, I hear we have a couple of things teed up here, starting with something about a train station.
Yeah. So, a while back, Disney famously got rid of the Magical Express and pivoted to like the minivans and things like that. And there was some talk alongside all this about putting in a train station that would connect Disney Springs to... I didn't read this. I'm sorry,
Well-
guys. I realized I got distracted by other things, and this is the first I'm reading this, and I realized I was just reading WWW's article.
Janine is you're doing great. You're coming back full.
Coming back strong. I
Yeah.
think, I haven't read it either, but I will say what my assumption would be is thinking about that. If it's a commuter thing that's supposed to bring people to property and to the resort, having them all dumped at Disney Springs, like
Yeah, that's
with
real weird.
luggage
That's
and
a horrible
with
idea.
luggage and
Yeah.
bags. It's kind of a terrible idea. Like,
I mean, I guess it is a hub. There are buses that will get you to the rest of the
Yeah.
Well,
hotels.
I
and
mean,
resorts.
based on what I heard about Brightline, to be honest, it's kind of a good thing that they canceled that.
Well, I
really?
mean, they're still hitting up International Drive, and Universal is still getting
okay.
kind of. I mean, it's not a Universal stop, but in the same way that Universal can kind of utilize a lot of things because they're just part of the urban environment down there. That they're getting a station kind of there as well. There's supposed to be one near Disney Springs, just not at Disney Springs.
How?
And-
Yeah, I wonder
yeah.
where that would be.
Ooh, maybe it's the old Crossroads site.
Yeah,
Oh.
right. Those developers
Yeah.
are already chomping at the bit at other things, so who knows? And maybe that was the problem too. Is it's just hard to find the right. I wouldn't. Railroads were a lot easier when it was just land, and a farmer was like, I don't know, I'll take a potato, and you're like, okay. Like now it's too complicated. So
This kind of sounds like they didn't want it because it was going to go to other places.
There's been like rumors that have been going around where Universal has been lobbying the Florida Department of Transportation to have the station next to Universal because they're
Mhm.
going to be adding a lot of traffic with the whole Epic universe. So Disney, I guess, according to the rumors, got really upset about Universal's interests in this and their increased participation in the project with Brightline that they decided to pull out. And I think Disney thinks that it's going to maybe make Brightline come crawling back to them. Maybe.
It's hard to imagine.
it doesn't make or break Disney. I just think people are tired of seeing Disney say no to or take away transportation options
Yeah.
and still be
Yeah.
like, we have our minivans, we brought them back, and people are like, I'm not paying double the amount of an Uber for your minivan. So
I mean,
don't
that's true too. Like, what does that mean for a Magical Express? Like,
I think that's just dead.
I think
Yeah.
didn't they cancel Magical Express?
Yeah.
How do you justify the prices that you charge without, like, a huge part of the affordability of the Disney resorts is we don't have to rent a car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it shaves off a huge amount of your stress and your budget. So I just don't understand the value proposition there.
Well, there isn't
That's
one.
exactly, there isn't one. It's
Yeah.
because
it really isn't.
they're twirling their mustaches and getting more money. So
Yeah.
speaking of twirling mustaches, we have some
Yeah.
villains arriving
Ooh,
on
that was
property. You know, I'm a professional. I'm a professional.
Yeah. So they're opening the
Janine, did
The-
you read this one?
I did read this one. I actually read like multiple. That's what happened is I got like really sucked into the villain's lair.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm
Yeah.
just joking. I'm
That's
teasing.
okay. Yeah. No, I'm exhausted. I'm just tired. And
I hear you.
Yeah. Just with life, not just, you know. So yeah, Disney Vacation Club is opening the Top of the World Lounge at the Contemporary pretty soon, within the next couple of weeks on July 11th. It's I don't know. I don't think it's really much to write home about. Looking at the images that they have of it, I don't get villain vibes from it. I kind of just get like generic hotel vibes. But it's apparently a villains themed lounge, which comes through with some portraits that they describe being around, but are not pictured in the imagery at all. And some pretty fun menu item names, which they had
Mhm.
some fun with that, which that makes sense. That's a free way to theme your restaurant. Yeah, we'll never see it.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're DVC.
And if
So
I know
have a
DVC,
friend.
we're not going there.
Oh, you're just not gonna go there, period.
Like why? It just looks like a generic.
I don't. It's the top of the world.
I
you
mean,
know?
that's cool. You can see the fireworks, I guess, but
This doesn't replace California Grill, does it?
This is the lounge, right?
yeah,
up
this is
top.
just
Oh,
yeah.
It's just a
Just a
lounge.
lounge.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Those pictures don't look very villainy for sure.
It doesn't. It just looks like a generic hotel restaurant.
Yep.
Is Disney going for generic vibes these days? Like, I'm confused.
Did you guys see the Enchanted Rose bar at Grand Floridian? It's that sort of like Beauty and the Beast subtlety thing. And then of course Citrus now has sort of a Mary Poppins subtlety thing. And I mean, this is what that is, which is, oh, you can't see in a wide shot that it's villains, but like, I'm sure if you got closer to the,
I just don't see it at all.
I don't see it. I don't think this is
At
as good as the as
all.
either of the other two.
Like villains, I think it should be dark and like gothic. It shouldn't be blue and orange tones with pops of red.
I do. I mean, it looks. Here's the thing about this, which I think is super weird. It looks like an Incredibles lounge.
Yes.
Like it's
that might have been the competing.
it very much feels like they decided to not. Remember, they did the testing. They put the entire Incredibles room together at the Contemporary to figure out if that was going to be the new vibe. And this looks like that was where they were going to go. And then they did a meme of the car, swerving right. Like it looks like they're kind of backpedaling and doing something different because they thought, oh, well, villains is a more broad intellectual property, so we can do more things or something.
The theming is basically the drink and food names, like Chernaborg Charcuterie Board. The
Yeah.
Chernaborg. Are you
Yeah.
Unfortunate Souls Shrimp? Are you kidding me?
What's that restaurant that has I think it's like a Wonderland restaurant that has Snow White and
Oh, Artist Point.
yeah, I was expecting something like that for
Mm.
this, where you have like that level of theming and also the characters, because I feel like when you have villains, like I'm expecting something crazy and exciting, like a lot of that type of stuff when it comes to villains. Like I want to walk in there and feel like I'm at Oogie
Villains
Boogie
are
Bash.
over the top. Like
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right.
there's no
command
subtlety
the
about
room.
villains.
Yeah, like this is just so dull, and like maybe we're spending too much time on it, but it's honestly a
are.
little bit
Yeah.
insulting.
We are. Let's.
But here's the
Yeah.
thing. Let me put it like this. I think this will layer it in nicely. I don't see a single chair that is fabriced in Dalmatian, so it's not doing it right.
I just want
That's the
gold.
whole
Like,
point.
It's not Cruella approved, and therefore I don't approve of it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. It's only end of June, but it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. I mean, Christmas starts in the resorts in October, if you want to count Halloween overlay. But so really only a couple months away. But one of the new Christmas features at Walt Disney World is involving our favorite new attraction with Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
Yes, I'm so excited for this. I think that this is such a great decision that Disney made where they have they're adding holiday music tracks to the Guardians of the Galaxy coaster. And if you guys haven't done that yet, that ride is a hoot. I loved it so much more than I imagined that I could. And they're putting in Christmas music, which I think is just a great way to create more fun seasonal layers to Epcot.
Yeah.
I love that it's going to have, I guess, the music from the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh, right.
I
of
think that's
course.
my
Yeah, I'm assuming.
because they
that's
talk
what it's
about
gonna
like a
do.
song that has it, so I think it has to be from that holiday special.
That's an easy rights thing. They did it both
Yeah.
at the same
Yeah.
time.
Exactly,
Very
it's
true.
clever. I'm excited.
And I bet you it's like it's probably retro stuff, but also covers of
Yeah.
Christmas songs, because there's not a lot of. I mean, you got Jingle Bell Rock, you've got of course Mariah Carey's "All I Want for Christmas Is You" is going to be in there. We know this as a fact. They're like the Ronnie Spector stuff, and the big wall of sound Christmas songs. Those will all be there.
Will it just be music, or are they gonna have like a whole different vibe, similar to like Monsters After Dark?
I mean, what I read was music.
But you know what they could do is that it's the music, but the little quips and stuff from Rocket and everybody as
Yeah.
you ride could
Yeah.
be holiday themed, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they got budget Rocket, so they can bring him in again for
Bootleg
nothing.
Rocket, yeah.
So
Yeah.
bootleg Rocket, yeah.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
That was our great value rocket. Everybody.
The up and up version of
Yeah, up and up Rocket.
Up and up rocket. Yeah.
Not up and up.
Oh, I don't know. This is exciting. Is this the quickest holiday overlay we've ever gotten on a new ride? I mean, this is going to be
Yeah.
months
Well,
after.
Yeah, it
opening.
is.
How quickly did Monsters After Dark come in?
That was like the first year in Halloween, right after it opened. I would not be surprised if they added Christmas songs to here in California as well, to Mission Breakout, just because
That'd
it
be
wouldn't
smart.
be hard.
Yep.
I'm surprised they haven't done it yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, again, maybe they're waiting for the Christmas special, which I hope is like, I hope they lean into the, let's do it like the Star Wars Christmas special piece of crap. And like, I'm hoping it looks like it's shot on VHS. I'm hoping it looks like old broadcasts,
Interesting fact for all those out there, I learned today, is the Star Wars holiday special directed by the same man that did the '68 Elvis Presley comeback special. So
Correct. Yes.
very unique. The man has quite the oeuvre.
Yeah.
Speaking of Elvis, I know I'm taking people off topic, but did anyone else see Elvis?
No, I'm going this weekend.
No.
Okay, well then I won't ruin it for Dave, but Saara knows there's a nice little theme reference in that film that is very much worth everyone's time.
Okay.
So
It was really
when you
good.
see it, you'll
I
know.
thought you were gonna say you don't want to spoil the movie.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you what happens to Elvis.
Spoiler
Like,
alert.
It's kind of already spoiled.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you what happens.
I mean, I'm assuming it's all Baz Luhrmann, so it's super maximalist and
yeah, it's beautiful.
One thing I would recommend is to not go high. That's all I'm gonna say.
Oh,
Not go
okay.
high. Interesting.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Wow.
All right.
Okay,
I will have to
Is
change
this from
my
experience or?
right.
No comment.
You
No
know what?
comment.
No comment.
Look,
Well, I
we
gotta-
ain't gonna be snitching.
Damn, I have to change my plans now. So,
Yeah.
all right, let's move over to the West Coast. So, speaking of pot, let's move over to the West Coast, where
To another
we're
ride
all
everyone
pretty
likes to get
much-
high on.
Absolutely.
A real
Uh,
hot box situation, everybody.
Can you imagine hotboxing the Finding Nemo submarines? Can you
Yeah.
imagine?
Bro.
So
No.
the Finding Nemo submarine voyage here at beloved Tomorrowland at Disneyland is reopening July 25th. It had a huge makeover, right?
Yeah, I am genuinely excited because I have definitely been missing the lagoon. It was recently filled last month. We are finally getting the Nemo ride back. It was supposed to open up back in winter, but it's been constantly getting delays. It's getting a fresh paint job, new set pieces, special effects, and lighting as well. And we have a new character from Finding Dory.
Is it Hank? Oh, I love Hank.
Yeah, Hank
Yeah.
is right outside. So I'm excited to it's going to be a really cool photo op. He looks amazing and very bright. but turns out he's already been in a Disney park before in Tokyo.
Oh
So-
wow.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant just because he could kind of camouflage. He's just been around.
Maybe he's been there. They just threw some paint on him.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I've never done this ride
Oh,
in any of
it's-
its iterations.
Mm.
It's a while in air conditioning. It's that.
Okay.
It's I actually have a soft spot for it just because you really go underwater. It's
Yeah.
not an original opening day attraction, but it's still got tendrils of what it was.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful, and the I watched the little video, the Imagineering video where they showed the refurb, and it's really beautiful. Like they put a lot of money into painting everything and adding a bunch of new foliage, and I'm assuming they also mentioned something about it's bigger and brighter inside, which means I think it's all been relit. Maybe they added Hank to the story or
Is
something.
Yeah.
there,
that shows up in
is
media.
there like sort of like the Living Seas sort of projection
Yeah.
Yeah.
things?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Des really wants to do it. I need to take him. Like that's so weird. Okay, yeah, the web slingers, we didn't get to do that last time, but like that might be the thing that gets us there.
I feel like this was kind of on the chopping block for a lot. Like this was what everyone thought was going to go.
Yeah.
Especially during COVID, everyone was like, "Well, they're never going to reopen the submarine, right?" Like,
Yeah,
there's
right,
absolutely no
right.
way. I mean, I still find it kind of it's a weird system. I don't think they'd ever make something like this again if they didn't have everything in place, because it does
No,
take a
no.
lot of time to get in and out, and
It's a lot.
Yeah,
And it doesn't have a huge throughput, but they
No.
can't lose capacity right now at all. So
No.
it's
And the cost
not
to
with
replace
that,
it, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's so big.
It would be so much.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
I'm just not
yeah.
riding that ride anytime soon. It's too hot. It's too hot over here.
And it's too claustrophobic. That's why I don't like it. It's
Mm.
in the summer, it's disgusting.
Well, Dave just promised me air conditioning, so what's the deal?
But it smells so bad, girl. Like
Really?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
It smells
God.
like teenagers in July.
Yeah, people are hotboxing in there, but it's not. It's not weed. It's farts.
It's
Oh God.
It's like you didn't put on that second layer of deodorant and you really should have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
the Space Mountain line was bad, like in the summer. But this is so
Mhm.
bad.
Oh,
Mm,
And you're
Yeah,
all crammed in there. Oh my god, like it's awful.
Okay,
yeah,
just kidding.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for disabusing me of that. I feel like you just saved a life.
No. It's
From-
worth going on once, but yeah, I mean, it's not one of those things that you gravitate towards because it is a little laborious.
Journey through liquid space. That's what the poster used to say.
Wow.
Speaking of liquid space, we're moving on to outer space.
yeah, we are.
Oh my god, Victoria. I saw all your tweets. I saw all of Victoria's tweets. Relax.
I was
Stand up, girl.
thirsting so
Stand up. It's okay. Okay.
I will thirst for a white man. It's okay.
You were standing on the hunky Lightyear guy.
It's white
huh?
boy summer.
Just a tad.
So
Just a
Mm.
tad.
white boy summer.
Yeah.
So you know what? If it was Chris Evans, I would have been thirsting too. But anyways, so hunky Lightyear. So we finally have Buzz Lightyear. He is in the parks. You can find him sometimes, not a lot of the times, in Tomorrowland. And he looks like a prince.
Yeah, he's in the flesh. For those who don't know, he's not a costume.
A face character, as we call it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they maybe they didn't have enough people. Maybe all their superhero looking dudes were in Marvel, and they just had a Prince Charming available in the back room at Disneyland, and they just grabbed him because that's what I think happened.
Yeah,
That's what it
totally.
looks like. Like, why couldn't they have found a guy who maybe looks a little like Patrick Warburton or
Yeah, a
something?
little
Yeah.
Like
football
that.
player.
A
Yeah,
little older, a little football. I mean, then I would be all over it. If it was that, if it was
Yeah,
Patrick
yeah.
Warburton, I'd be like throwing dollars at him to take that suit off.
Yes.
But it's kind
Nice
of
work,
weird.
pal.
Like this, the suit looks too big on him. Like
Yeah,
he
it's
doesn't
wearing
It makes
fit.
him
him.
look very small.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like it was
It's weird.
eating him.
And the
Yeah.
hair was just off.
The
It
hair
was
is I
just
can't
all
stop
off.
staring at the hair.
yeah,
Yeah.
the hair's bad.
The hair's always bad. Like the Elsa
It's,
wig.
it's really
oh my
like they put
God.
Prince Philip in a spacesuit and called it a day.
They
Yeah.
totally did.
Which is not to knock the guy. He looks
No.
like he's
oh,
No.
not
you
at
know,
all.
of
He's
course,
good.
but
the
yeah.
performer
him.
is a handsome fella. Like good for
Yeah.
him. But
yeah.
it's just weird in terms of the movie and the character. It's odd.
I have not seen it.
I have seen it now.
Neither have I.
You know what? I liked it a lot.
Mhm.
I liked it a lot more than people are giving credit for. I think it's actually really clever and smart, and has the right feels in it. Has a really interesting message. Of course, this, like any good Pixar or Disney movie lately, the sidekick steals the show. That cat is
Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
socks.
Socks.
is meow 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 meow.
Was my review accurate?
Yes.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I loved it, and then I left it, and I haven't thought about it since. But I think that's just because I'm a grown up. I don't know. I don't know if it's something different than like I don't need to think about a animated Pixar movie, 3 weeks later or whatever. Like
I think it's because the themes weren't that complex. Like it was kind
Yeah.
of like, oh, we're all friends and we
simple.
can all help each other. Like it
Yeah.
didn't have a deep layer to it.
But my thing is it all right? It's already complicated, right? People are already freaking out, and they're like, I don't know how is this a Toy Story movie? What? Like, I don't know why it's so hard. It's just a movie about Buzz Lightyear. Like, just watch it. But you then bring out a face character to play Buzz Lightyear. My thing is always going to be about the Lightyear film. Is it should have been live action, and it should have just starred Chris Evans, and it should have just been a live action
Oh my
movie.
gosh.
That would have
Because
made
then you
more sense to me.
It would have made
because
more money too.
People get Disney does a live action version of an animated thing. They don't think twice
Yeah.
about it. They just go, okay, it's a different thing, right? They put it away in a different file in their brain, and then you can have this face character in Tomorrowland, and everyone gets it. But they have a face character for a thing that's not a face character, but they can't have a costume character because it looks almost like the other costume character. It's too complicated. I don't know. It's fine. I look at this. I look at the holiday Cosmic Rewind, and every one of them for me goes, okay, I see the budget. I see this came out of Disney Plus. I see that this came out of the movie budget. Like, I see it, right? It's not coming out of a theme park budget. Neither of these things are. And I think that's why you see these little things pop up and get done, is because they can. And it's not
They're
new. I'm not being
promotional.
mean about it. It's pretty normal, but
Just
it's just is what it is. But it won't last. I think it's too confusing. And I think that actor is very much done asking about churros, which is his like prompt as he's learning about churros in Disney.
Really?
Yeah, he's
Is
learning
that in
about
the movie?
like, he's learning about Earth food.
No.
No.
Isn't he
Weird.
from Earth? How-
No, we're not going to open
Don't
this box.
overthink it. Don't
I'm
overthink it.
confused.
Let's just move on.
We're moving on. We're moving
Just
on.
know, sir, you look good.
I know.
That's
So
it.
good. So good. So good.
So that is your Disney wish to have Hunky Lightyear to yourself,
Yes.
Victoria. Okay.
I mean,
what-
respectfully.
No, not respectful.
Well, not at all.
Not at
you
all.
ain't go, you go
No.
disrespect that boy. I'm down. I agree.
Yes.
Speaking of Disney wishes, there is a rather large one coming true on the East Coast, correct, Victoria?
That is correct. So the Disney Wish, the latest in the Disney Cruise Line fleet, has now been christened. I can English.
It's Christian. It's Christianed. Yeah, it now
Christian.
worships Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior.
Oh my
It's
god, it's been
Christian.
baptized? How cute.
Yeah.
I know, with the little baptism, all cute. So, so lots of media and cast members and Make-A-Wish children actually all came to christen the Disney Wish. So there was a little bit of a weather issue. It did rain for part of the christening, but I was surprised. But Bob Chapek actually showed up. Shook, but Bob Chapek and Josh D'Amaro, they were around to thank the cast members and anyone that essentially worked on the ship to make it, a reality. A bunch of Disney characters were there, like just Star Wars, Marvel, literally any character you could think of, they were probably there. Anika Noni Rose showed up. She did like I think she sang Wishes and like
Yeah.
a bunch of other songs too. I only saw the clip for Wishes and she sounded amazing. And then they had the Make-A-Wish children actually come in, and they are the godchildren of the Wish, and they did a little blessing. So that was really sweet. I really love that. And then came time to actually christen the boat. So usually they'll take like a champagne bottle and smash it, but they did it like a virtual version of it. And I think Tinkerbell she like popped the bottle or something like that. I was
you
like,
can now buy the NFT. Of the,
I was like, a
bottle.
champagne bottle wasn't in the budget. Like, I digress. And there was like apparently an original song, Sail.
I think it went
Sail.
something. I think it went something like "Love, exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you." Yeah, Love Boat. Should have been.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. But overall, they did it live for everyone to see. And it seemed like it went very well for the most part.
What do you guys think of the boat?
I mean, I don't know much about the boat because everyone keeps showing me the stuff I can't afford. So,
Yeah. The bar, the Princess and the Frog bar, looked pretty cool.
oh, it looked phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bayou is the name of the Princess of the Frog one. It
Yeah.
looks really good.
Yeah.
Have you guys have any of you done the cruise before? Because I've done two.
I'm not.
I was supposed to do the Wish, but I ended up canceling it.
We took my husband for his 40th birthday and invited his family, and they surprised him on board, so it was really
Aw.
fun.
Oh, that's
And-
cute.
but-
That's so lovely.
Yeah, but like in my head, I'm like, oh, Disney Cruise. I'm going to suffer through this just for his family and their kids. But we ended up loving it so much
Yeah.
that we actually went back the following year just with adults and no kids at all, and as kind of as a test, like, hey, I wonder if this is going to work, and it does. It's really like the food's all really high quality. The experiences on board are high quality. There's an adult pool and adult bars. It's and unlike other cruises for me, no gambling. And no high pressure sales. Like so many of the other cruises make you do jewelry sales and things on board. And Disney doesn't do any of that. So it's anyway, I really enjoyed it. And so I hope I can do the new ship because it looks lovely.
But Dave, are you gonna do the $5,000 drink?
Oh no. That's what we got next year. That $5,000 Star Wars cocktail unveiled on the Disney Wish. Tell us more about that, Victoria.
It's 3 shots, and the media keep asking what exactly is in it, and they won't tell them.
Yeah.
So I'm
But
like,
it
but
comes-
what if you have allergies to some sort of alcohol?
We probably don't want to spend 5,000 then. Like, you don't want to take that risk.
Yeah, that's true.
But what if you
So
don't
it's
like a certain type of alcohol? If I'm gonna spend the 5,000, I want my type of alcohol.
No one's buying this because they like alcohol. They're buying it to prove that they can buy it. We have reached Las Vegas type purchases now coming from Disney.
That's true.
It's for
Very
tech
true.
bros who are taking their nephews on this thing, and they're like, "But I still got to show off, so I'm gonna buy a $5,000 drink."
Listen, I'm gonna be a hater through and through for this because I can't afford it. But if I could afford it, I wouldn't be a hater. I think it's
no,
kinda
you
cool.
would not buy this. You would not buy this.
I would not
I
in a
totally
million
would.
years.
If I had the
Good.
money, I would.
Let me back up and explain what it is.
Okay, let's start there.
So
We're outraged.
So pretty much it comes in some weird ice cream machine. It's not a drink. It's it's shots. That's
No,
what
it's
it
a-
is.
It's a
No,
container. It's actually a container from The Mandalorian that was shown in there. It's just typical
Oh,
Star
yes,
Wars.
that's
Yeah.
right.
It's a typical Star Warsian looking,
which was shown in Empire Strikes Back before that.
right. Oh,
Yes.
was it?
Yeah, but in Empire Strikes Back, he's literally carrying an ice cream maker. Like, that's the joke.
That's what
It's
it
like
is.
people pointed out, like, that's just a 70s ice cream maker.
It's called
and then-
a Camtono.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's what it is, and that's what the shots come in. It's called a kyber crystal, and it's the most rare and valuable thing
But
in
it's
the
spelled
galaxy.
differently. The Kyber is spelled very
Yeah,
alcohol-y.
it's spelled differently.
Yeah, it's like Cristal.
Kaiburr Kyber
Yeah.
crystal.
Versus the KYBER.
It was. You're right. It was in Cloud City, and one of the guys running
Mhm.
away with it under his arm, and it was an actual 70s ice cream maker.
Yeah.
So, in conclusion, Disney is trying to pull a Beyonce and not tell you what you're paying for. So,
But like Dave said, do you get to keep the ice cream maker?
I don't think so.
no one knows.
Because if
You-
it's just a
we
little
literally-
glass, not even a souvenir. Because like when you go to Trader Sam's, like those souvenir cups like are a lot
20
of money.
bucks.
At least you're getting the souvenir cup.
And how did this end up on the Disney Wish when like this clearly feels like a Star Cruiser thing? Like,
Yeah, especially
Right.
When I saw it, I thought it was the Star Cruiser. Like until
Yeah.
I read the description, it said the Wish.
Like, my whole thing is when I booked this cruise, it was only like $2,700. This drink alone costs more than for me to get on the ship. Like, what is in it? Tell me.
It's lime LaCroix and
Oh, it's that going after those luxury dollars, which is everything they've been doing for the last couple of years, and all that has led to our next piece of news, which is that Mr. Bob Chapek, who is behind a lot of these business decisions to make more money, was rewarded by the board with a 3-year extension. His contract's up in 9 months. People weren't sure if it was going to go through, but evidently in the board meetings in Florida this week, it was unanimous, and he has got a 3-year extension.
well, the unanimous. I don't think anything would come out with it not being unanimous.
true.
Like, it's a PR. That's a PR
I
statement.
feel like they
more than
didn't have an
anything.
option
Yeah.
at that point. He fired like anyone that would have took
Yeah.
over.
Right. Is it just me, or is the Disney board basically inspired by the way the Supreme Court makes decisions right now? They're just
He-
like, yeah, we're going to do this, and it's going to make more money, and it's not very good for our constituents, aka Disney customers, but we're going to do it anyway.
The best thing that could have happened to this man is the pandemic. It got thrown on his back. Everyone's like, we don't know what he can actually do, and he made numbers, which is a super low bar when you get through a world pandemic, and he pushed it through with you know, things that only hurt the brand, and he's got terrible morale, and he's got terrible word of mouth. I just think that they don't know what they want to do yet. I don't think this suggests anything. The thing about a company like Disney is they already know what they're doing for 3 years anyway. It's not like he can like divert course from, he was already planning this stuff. And even if they brought somebody else in, a lot of that stuff was probably going to already go through and maybe get adjusted. So we might actually just be seeing like now officially whatever Bob Chapek wants to do. And if that's all $5,000 cocktails, he's going to get the boot, because it's just not going to make the corporation as a whole a kind of a unified force.
But to your point, Nathan, so like a lot of the policies that were kind of coming up during his time over the past couple of years were things that were kind of happening during Iger's time. Like they were set in course during Iger's time. So do you think had he been more charismatic and Disney maybe had a better PR team, that these things would have kind of just been jammed through and like kind of been okay? Because they were things that Iger would have enacted had he still been there.
Right. I think that's a great point. I think that you have a scenario where when you have someone that you trust kind of at the helm a little bit, you're willing to go, oh, okay, I don't know why you're doing this, but okay, right? No one trusted him. Everyone hated him when he was just working at theme parks. Like, he's just constantly been this way. And decisions that Iger might have made that he's followed through with only sort of emphasize that point. I think a lot of stuff got kind of chucked out the window with COVID and that kind of stuff. And I think that I don't know, maybe he was the kind of the person you needed to really hold the budget, like at a time like that in crisis. But there's no way that he is the face of the company. Like, I don't think anyone would say that, like, oh yeah, we would like him to be the one that, marches us down the street. So I think he's got a cushy 3 year, because they don't know what else they want to do. They're probably already planning on what they want to do. Like, now they're figuring it out. Tom Stagg sits quietly by his phone, and we see what happens. But I don't think there's anything that he can do in the next 3 years that are gonna keep him on. If it's just smooth sailing and it's what's already happened, it's that's not going to impress anybody. And if he uses what tactics he knows how to use, it's only going to damage the brand. So, I mean, when's the last time you saw a Disney CEO that was in a fight with Marvel and with like the entire LGBT community? Like, the guy just doesn't know how to run a company that is, that needs a guy in a sweater or anyone in a sweater at the front. So I don't know. It's not shocking. It
I
just
think
sucks.
Disney's just in like survival mode still a bit. And so they're not really, they're just trying to get through, just trying to like pad the budget however much they can to make up for what they lost. And then this is me being eternally, hopelessly optimistic, but maybe sometime in the future they'll start like.
But aren't they making like record profits? Don't they have?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think
that's what they're saying.
But were they doing that 2 years ago? Like, are they still, like they're probably padding and making up for what was lost before. And maybe once they feel like they've like come up for air and caught their breath a bit, we might see maybe some changes. But I feel like a lot of the changes are necessary.
I think Disney believes that their fans will take it no matter what, and it's obvious. Like, they'll give you $100,000 flight, it's sold out. Like, we time and time again, the fans just prove to Disney that they can do whatever the hell that they want, and someone will pay for it. Like, there's just too many.
The demand is just there, no matter what they'd set the price to. Yeah.
So Disney can just like you can have the parks. Like, I don't know if you guys saw the picture on Twitter of the Space Mountain line of the wall just like peeling off. Like, that should not be happening in a theme park. You should not have in a Disney theme park. There have been videos where you have feminine hygiene products in the lines, not even being thrown in trash. Like, there have been like there are videos of that. I saw it on YouTube, like from this guy named Kevin. I forget his last name, but regardless. So like the theme parks are definitely just not what they used to be. And like, I think at the end of the day, if we keep constantly going back and buying all the product and the merchandise, Disney will continue to just keep it at where it's at. And we won't really see a lot of improvements.
The issue, theme park wise, and clearly I think he would like to not talk about the theme parks because that is a sore spot. Whereas, Disney Plus is okay right now, but I think they're all nervous about what happens when they have a Netflix problem.
I didn't even think
because they're spending gobs of money on Disney Plus. And everyone's like package deals are coming due, right, in the
Mm.
next with a 3-year deal or whatever. So we'll see what people do. For theme parks, though, we are running out of people who plan to go during COVID and held back and have went since kind of COVID's eased up, right?
Mhm.
The question is, how many people do you get to come back after having an experience that they've had under the Chapek administration?
If you have half of the rides breaking down, like on your visit, I don't think you're going to be coming back.
And then you
So
don't get a
Yeah.
refund on Disney Genie Plus, what you use to get on the rides.
Yeah.
it's just a bad experience overall in the parks.
I mean, I'm
It's too complicated.
yeah, I'm looking into canceling my annual pass just because it's just not fun.
I might be
anymore.
like Dave and not renew it.
Oh, I let mine expire.
Here's a perfect example. Like I went to book a day for Gay Days coming up in September here in California, and my pass expires on the 4th of September, and the event is on the weekend of like the 12th
Oh, I
and
ran into
13th.
this.
And so
Mhm.
I can't, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I would have to buy a ticket because they have not offered me any renewal options yet.
Yep, you can't
Mm.
renew. It's I ran into this with the Guardians of the Galaxy thing.
There's certainly a reason that not just because the weather's hot, but there's a reason that Katie and I like to go to the water parks a lot, and it's because it's easy.
Yeah.
You
So
don't need a
easy.
reservation. You
Yeah.
go and
Yeah.
you hang out.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, I think we've
Covered it.
we all hate Bob Chapek, and we hope that it hurts him in 3 years.
Well,
there you go.
they are doing one, I guess, ostensibly good thing, which is after the United States.
We'll call it the bare minimum.
Yeah, I was
bare
going to say the
minimum,
bare
right.
minimum.
Is there below the bare minimum at this point?
Well, I mean, let's establish what it is first. So after Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Supreme Court, the Walt Disney Company informed all employees that they will pay for travel expenses related to abortion service, and that they want to provide comprehensive reproductive care and family planning to their employees. Now, on the surface, okay, good. Lots of companies stepped forward and said that, but you know that this is exactly what the GOP wants: is they want it all to be privatized. Like that, this is
Yeah.
not the right direction.
Also, who wants to go up to their boss or their HR company and be
Yeah.
like, "Hey,
That's what I was
employer,
confused
I
about.
need an abortion.
Right.
I need some vacation time, and for you to send me like,
Yeah.
no, nobody wants to do that."
Yeah. Is that yeah? Does that come out of your vacation
Yeah.
time? How does that work? Like how we don't? Here's the thing though. For me, they don't own Disney stores anymore. People.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's not like they're in the middle of Tennessee.
Right.
Like they're in California and Florida.
Yeah.
And though Florida is always like, okay, we'll see where you're going to land. Florida every day is a little different.
We're chilling in California.
California is like it's its own thing. And for me, I get it, but I will also say that covering an abortion in California is going to be far cheaper and easier than covering abortion if you had employees in different
Yeah.
states.
I mean,
Yeah.
they do have I imagine they probably have employees who live, maybe they work remote, maybe like, do they do filming in Georgia? Like they may have
They do
employees
filming in Georgia,
that
yeah.
live in states, but just not many of them.
That's what I hope really happens, is that they step up in states like Georgia and go, we're not going to film
Right.
here anymore unless you
That would be
change this."
meaningful. This is
Yeah.
not meaningful.
Yeah.
This is two people at most are going to take them up on this, and it gets them some good press to cover for donating to the politicians who put this in place.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, 100%.
absolutely. So then there's a bit of weirdness.
Oh boy.
This is so odd. So Disney patents stuff all the time, and a lot of the fan sites sort of watch the patent record like a hawk to see what Disney's submitting, and they patented a mobile robot locker to carry your items at theme parks, and it evidently works with a smartphone or a smartphone, a tablet app, and it can like follow you around. You can put your diaper bag in it, so you don't have to carry everything. It's like those annoying huge not strollers, but the big huge like bins on wheels that they put their kids and stuff in. Only
I was gonna say it reminds me of a mouse droid in Star Wars.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, yeah, with the illustration on the patent, one of them looks like a very large version of the mouse droid from Star Wars. And I mean, I have so many questions. Like, if I put my stuff in it, I go on an attraction, does this thing like park outside like a stroller? Maybe that's the goal, is that instead of big unruly strollers, that they're all this in the same size, they can sort of park them next to each other and they can be smart, like smart cars. But I don't know. It just seems to me like unnecessary innovation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean That's what a patent
Yeah, I
is.
think they're just
Yeah.
keeping it from other people. Like you just throw them out there. You just file so many patents.
Well, and if you make it, right, this is the whole idea of having R&D is if you make it and you patent it, then restaurant companies can buy it from
Yeah.
you
Right.
for whatever they want to do with it, or hotel companies can buy it and use it for the. I think it's a lot of speculation to be like, oh, is this for the theme parks? It's like this was never going to be in the theme parks.
Yeah.
There's no. I mean, I think management is moronic at times at Disney, but it takes 5 minutes in a Disney theme park to go, oh well, grandma in her stroller or in her scooter is going to run this thing over, and this kid's going to kick it over, and like there's absolutely no way this would work.
I could see it being somewhat useful because it is a lower capacity at a water park, right? Like they don't deal with the scale of the theme parks, and so you could put your stuff in it while you go on a slide. Like
it's on a sand tread.
Yeah, right. So it can go out to you on
You
the
could put
beach,
like a
yeah.
Wally skin on it. That'd be cute.
That's kind of cute. Yeah.
Ooh, that's kind of that's dystopian and weird though. I don't want to be reminded of while I sit my fat ass in a hovering chair, like
Yeah, let's not kid ourselves. We don't organize our trash.
yeah. All righty, moving on. So we go now to TV and film. And speaking of spooky season, Victoria, we have a fun announcement coming up for a sequel that some of us really wanted.
Yes, indeed. So we finally got the teaser trailer for Hocus Pocus 2. Yay! So not only did we get a teaser trailer, we also got a poster. Well, two actually. It included one with Mary on 2 Roombas instead of a vacuum cleaner this time.
And the other one was on a Swiffer. That's what they said.
Yes, and the other one was on a Swiffer, but it's gonna be a Disney Plus streaming event thing, so it's not gonna go to theaters. It's only gonna be on Disney Plus.
I'm in the minority in that I'm not a huge fan of it, but then again, I didn't grow up with it. Like I didn't either. I know a lot of people that grew up with it and watching it, multiple times a year on Disney Channel or home video or whatever. So I get it. I get why there's a sort of cult fandom for it. My opinion of, I haven't watched the trailer yet, but I'm like, I love the concept of it. Overall, the idea of the movie is really great. I think one of the problems I have with the original movie is that it doesn't sort of pay off on how really dark it is. And so if they can make it a little scarier, I actually think this might be hopefully might be a case where distance in time has made them go, all right, let's make a better version of the movie we made before. You know what I mean?
I thought the trailer made it seem way more like Disney Channel movie friendly.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
It
mean,
didn't
to be
feel
fair, it's
spooky
also a
to me.
teaser trailer.
That's true.
So I'm giving it.
It's really hard to
optimism.
get a feel for a movie based on a teaser.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I
Yeah.
was thinking too. So I was like, I'll be optimistic because it kind of looked like, I don't know if you guys have seen the sequel book, but
no.
there's a sequel book for it that was supposed to be the actual sequel to it for a Disney Channel film, but they just turned it into a book instead. And it kind of is giving me that vibe, which I'm down for because there's a lot of LGBT representation in the book.
Oh, awesome.
I hope Doug Jones comes back as the mom.
He is.
He
Is he
is.
cool?
He is.
Okay, great. He's like
Yes,
the best
he is
thing
coming
in that
Oh,
movie.
that's really exciting.
Yeah.
I love
he's great.
Doug.
He's
I
great.
mean, they again, like you kind of hit it on the nail for me, Dave. Like I didn't grow up with it, so I watched it maybe a year ago, and I was like, okay,
Just a year
It's
ago?
fine.
Your first time was
Yeah,
seeing it a year
it's-
ago?
For the first
Wow.
time?
I saw it.
Yeah, it's not
me
like I didn't
too.
know about it, but
What?
Yeah,
it was never a part of my life.
I saw it for the
Um,
first time like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Yeah.
You know what? I
Yes,
kind of get
but
it.
but I mean, here's the thing: I am not gonna harp on anyone's mellow because,
right.
like, they're making a Honey I Shrunk the Kids sequel, and I'm going bananas about that. So,
Same.
like,
Same.
so
Do they have Rick Moranis
there's
in it?
niche. There's
Mhm.
yes,
Oh,
it
that's
does.
so exciting.
So there's niche property. Like if they told me tomorrow that Disney Plus was going to have a Harland Williams and Rocket Man 2, like I'm so down for that nonsense.
If they
That's
do
a
a
reference.
Rocket
If
Man
people,
sequel, I'm gonna lose my shit.
yeah. So maybe Victoria, we are on the same parallels here. But yeah, there's just a lot of those like weird Disney movies that I feel like you see as a kid and you latch onto,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's your thing.
They look great
yeah,
though.
God bless
the
it.
sisters.
They
They look fantastic.
Moving to other theme parks, we have some sad news for Northern California, and this one actually hits a little bit close to home to me because I did a bunch of work there. Great America.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you
is-
about that.
Yeah, when Paramount owned Great America in Santa Clara, I did a couple of attractions there. But it's set to shut down. Cedar Fair sold the land, right, Victoria?
That is correct. It looks like it's gonna be closed See, I'm confused. I heard near future, but based on this, I'm seeing within the next 11 years.
Yeah, yeah, 11 years. They said that the park will
Yeah.
remain operating for at least 11 years, and then now
Did
here's
they
the
say
thing,
at
and this
least
is
or up to?
At least.
at
Okay.
least. So I mean, the inside baseball part of this is I have heard this from park management since I worked there in like 2005 or 6. So like that land is the first thing that struck me about that news article was it didn't seem like a lot of money. It was only like
It's
300 and
not.
something million
At
dollars
all.
in Silicon Valley. Like that land has to be worth more than that
In this
Like,
housing crisis, like
in this economy. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
That's
but they've
what
been
threw me off.
but they've been talking about it. I heard rumors of it when I was working there that they're like, we don't know if it's worth the money to keep the park open, and maybe we can just sell it and have a developer use it, which is what they're going to do. But then Nathan sent us that clip, which was fire, of the Santa Clara mayor, right?
Pissed.
Coming out like,
Oh, they were
like
mad.
she was throwing hands at
It is zoned
Cedar
for
Fair.
a theme park, so ha ha.
Yeah, right.
I was
right.
like, ma'am. Well, it's kind of messed up that they didn't tell them. I'm not even gonna
Yeah, that's
lie,
wild.
like,
Yeah.
I think that it's going to turn into a bit of a fight, and I think the city's going to like put up a stink and say, no, you don't get to change that zoning for 20 years, and let's talk then or something. That would be my prediction, or it'll go to court or whatever. But
That might explain the price.
It's cheap because you can't build on it.
And so like
for-
Cedar Fair has to get to use it for another decade, like
yeah. It's a fun park. I did a ride there based on the TV show Survivor, which has now been rethemed, but it's a fun park if you haven't
I
been
love
there.
that
So
show.
it's a nice little regional. So I hope they stick around more because they employ a lot of youths get their first job if they live in the area at Great America, and it's a fun place. So we'll see if the city puts up a fight.
Speaking
moving
of
on,
putting
Nathan-
up a fight.
yeah, speaking of putting up a fight, we have our guests putting up fights in many ways, literal and figuratively, at the parks with our Beware Our Guest segment. Nathan, take it away.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Beware Our Guest material this week. I don't know. I feel like everyone's going crazy this week, and some of the stuff's a little older than this week, of course, but everything's kind of coming out of the woodwork. So first of all, let's just start with guns in general. There has been 2 instances of guns being found by security at Disney recently. One was a woman had asked her husband not to bring his gun on vacation, and he wanted to bring it. She's from Miami. He brought the gun and he put it in the family cooler in a pouch, and then she went up to the security gate at Hollywood Studios. And if you ever thought in your head, I don't know if this new system where you just walk through it really works. Well, clearly it does. Because they found it and they brought her over, and she was like, I don't really know what's in there. It's just drinks and like she had no clue.
I thought it was a battery
Yeah, okay.
charger pack.
Yeah, and she's like, well, it's probably that. And they brought out this handgun with ammo, 12 rounds. And she was like, I livid. So she got kicked out of the park. And she, of course, is very upset at her husband.
She also
She is
arrested,
said-
right? No, she has not been
Well,
charged with a
she-
crime yet. Okay.
She's not been charged because it wasn't hers. And
She
she's
didn't
just
know it
like,
was in there. So.
Yeah.
didn't know, and she's pretty upset. Now, that was one. The other one, though, is a little more
Yeah, that one's sketchier.
a little more suspicious. So this guest brings a Glock handgun with 48 rounds to Disney Springs. Now, I've thought for a long time, they started doing security when they got the new systems at Disney Springs, but before that, it was just open season over there, which I always thought was really weird to have a large Disney property with no security. So I'm glad they've added that. So this guy comes through the parking garage security at Disney Springs, and he's got his bag, and he gets pulled over, and he says, oh, I probably have a folding knife in my bag. So he pulls out the folding knife, and the guy goes, no, there's something else. And he goes, oh, well, there is something else in here, but I'm going to put it back in my car, so don't worry about it. So he just kind of grabs everything and starts going away. And the cops are like, nope. And so they pull him over and grab him. And of course, he has that Glock. It's a Glock clone. It doesn't have a serial number yet. He was supposed to submit paperwork to the state, and he says he has, but there's no record of it.
boy.
So he was trespassed and arrested. And he, of course, has decided that he's going to pull out the Second Amendment card and say that He doesn't care. The quote is, "It doesn't matter." This is from WWNT. It doesn't matter where I am. I carry a gun with me at all times. I can be at a restaurant. I could be at Disney. I don't care. I carry a gun at all times, period. I don't trust the law enforcement. I don't trust anybody. At the end of the day, it's the Second Amendment. I'm allowed to bring it. The fact that Disney is a private place and they don't allow it, I think is kind of stupid.
Yeah, America.
He had 48 rounds.
Like, what do you need
What's
48
going
rounds
on?
for?
Yeah. What's your life, dude? I don't actually believe him. I think
I
he
don't-
had
yeah.
a plan or was feeling like he might have a plan.
It seemed like there was a plan because it's 48 rounds is really a lot.
It also says he didn't
Yeah.
have a valid carry conceal license.
Yeah.
No.
So
Oh boy.
So
Yeah.
he's in
sketch,
deep,
sketch,
deep trouble.
sketch.
Yeah, so guns. But don't worry, everybody. I'm sure that won't be a problem in our lives. Next up is a much funnier story and a very, very strange one.
Very weird.
So you have this Florida guy, this Florida man, of course, who named David Proudfoot, 44 of Kissimmee, and he's facing several criminal charges, including grand theft, because he was caught last month as he pushed a cart on Epcot Boulevard to Hollywood Studios, kind of by the Swan, and he wore a Disney World name tag, and it said David, which as his name. You know how when you want to be secret, you put your own name on stuff. And he has a bright orange vest. So he had this bright orange vest with a name tag on it. The security officer said that he thought the guy looked suspicious and didn't seem to know where he was going. And so he kind of offered him help, kind of like testing him. And the guy kind of failed that test pretty miserably. Like he didn't know where anything was. So lots of red flags were kind of put up. And then so they brought in more people. And he like claimed that his boss worked in Burbank because, the random guy who works at the Swan, whose boss is actually in Burbank. And they found, and then he took him to a locker where he said all his stuff was. And I can just see it. It makes me laugh because he goes up to they're like, okay, we'll open it. And he can't open it because of course it's not his locker.
Oh,
and he's like, okay. And he finally gives away his driver's license and explains who he is. And he had grabbed a R2D2 droid that was probably part of the Swan's some sort of photo op opportunity, which was kind of worth around $6,000 to $10,000, and that was on the third floor of the Swan Hotel. And he also grabbed a duck catcher game from the arcade, and his
Wow.
that was about $3,500.
Yeah.
A whole
I guess you just put it on a cart and walk away.
How do you-
wait. A whole arcade game?
Yeah, you just get a cart and you unplug it and you start moving.
Confidence,
Where did he
baby.
get the cart? Like,
God.
I mean, it seems like he just brought it with him.
balls.
But what I love about this is he says, and he told the sheriff's sergeant that he had an application with Walt Disney World security pending and was moving the items to showcase weaknesses in the security. So which makes total sense, except that he is a super disgraced past educator who on Valentine's Day he had paid he had put a $700 gold necklace and charged it to a room he wasn't in at the Four Seasons in Orlando. And then before that, why I say he was an educator was because he stole about $15,000 when he was a principal at a school system in Baltimore County.
I know this guy.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
So-
from there.
Story. Yeah, I remember this story.
Yeah.
Holy
So-
crap. Well, look at that.
Like all con
Wow.
artists, they end up down here. Yeah. So I don't really think that he's being very honest about looking for weakness in security. And you know what he was able to prove was there's not a lot of weaknesses in security. So there
Yeah,
you go.
Right. There you have it.
I have a
Um,
quick question because who
Sure.
at the Orange County Police Department is taking the photos like this? They're
Yeah.
constantly from like this angle, like
Really
from the
high.
angle. Yeah. Like, why do they
Yeah.
always look like they're so sad?
They all every photo I have always seen from Orange County looks like they also tussle their hair like they're children right before they do the photo.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
give this guy, if you look at the photo though, if you give this guy a haircut, he would be a better Buzz Lightyear in that suit.
That's
by the way.
true.
Honestly,
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe a little
Yeah.
too old, but
He's got the
you know.
chin for it. He's got the
Yeah,
chin.
he's got the chin. He's got the chin.
He has
I don't
pretty
think he's gonna
eyes.
have
I'm
it.
not gonna lie. His eyes are pretty.
Aw, positive note.
Sarah, sing the best in everyone.
Sarah Silver Lining, as we like to call it around here.
He could, okay, so maybe security didn't work out, and maybe he could try for a face character role. So
Aw.
see, we can try a different role. You can
You're
always
right. He has lots
reapply.
of experience around kids. He was a principal. So
Rehabilitate.
and disguises, and acting. as we see. So
I like this. I like this idea of like there's a face character, but they have to wear like an orange sash that says like face character rehabilitation program. You know, Florida gets like $5,000 or something per person. You know,
Yeah.
something like that.
just keep them
that's
away from
good.
your wallets. But
Would you like to
should be
meet
all good.
Snow White, or would you like to meet Crackhead Snow White? We have both available. Crackhead Snow White is a lot closer. Like the line isn't as long because people don't go there as much. But she's really nice. Just don't look at her teeth, and you'll be fine. So
Her eyeliner's a little smudged, but it's okay. It's all right.
it's
Fine.
okay.
It's fine.
It's okay. Don't worry about it. We love you, Crackhead Snow White. Okay, so up next is a woman is arrested for slapping her husband at Disney's Animal Kingdom, and boy, have I been there. No, okay. And this is, she said, was because of stress of Disney World vacation was her reasoning for it.
That's
So
I mean,
that's fair.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a fair thing.
Yep.
You know?
yeah, it certainly makes more sense than I'm looking for weaknesses in security.
I mean, you never came back from a vacation and been like, I need to break up with this person. Like it happens. Like that's
It literally happened to me.
me
So,
too. So
yeah, I came home from spring. My girlfriend in college was she was in the college program, and I went to all the Disney parks with her over spring break, not knowing that she had already decided to break up with me, but felt it was bad to break up with me before I got to see Disney. So the first time I got to go to Hollywood Studios and Epcot and Animal Kingdom was with someone who had already decided that they were going to break up with me. So it was a
At
great
least she was
experience. I
nice.
also got a fever in the middle of it. And I rode Tower of Terror with probably like a 98 fever. I wouldn't leave
jeez.
until I rode everything. I tell you what, it's not as scary when you're flop sweating already. It's not too bad. So anyway, it looks like there has never been any previous incidents of domestic violence from these people. So this is new. It's like IKEA or Disney. That's when you beat somebody.
both are very
And
stressful.
it looks like June 3rd, 5 p.m. The couple got into a fight in the parking lot in front of an Orange County sheriff's deputy. Like they couldn't even hide. They just said they were going to do it in front of him. So they began to argue.
slapped him because he deserved it.
Yeah.
I just know it's his fault. I just know
Her
he's been doing
attorney
something.
is screaming.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I just
was
want to
it
know
in front of the children?
I
I
hope
don't
Put them
know.
in
I
the
don't-
car. She put them in the car.
She put them in the car. Okay,
Yeah.
Okay,
so...
she did the right thing.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so she was right.
yeah. I just know he was
So-
messing up. Like he was just fucking up the whole trip. He was probably getting on her nerves, and it was just the last straw.
I don't like all this male hate suddenly in this podcast, but
Are you
Sure.
kidding? They've been like lusting after the creepy wannabe heist guy.
oh,
we
that's
weren't
true.
lusting after him.
There was some thirst going on.
There was a
some
little
There
thirst.
was definitely thirst. There was slight thirst.
Listen, I don't know.
Her
Sorry,
boyfriend
do you
has
like a bad
COVID.
boy?
She hasn't seen him
I
in
know.
a while.
He had that kind of Fred Flintstone 5 o'clock shadow. I ain't
He
mad
really
about that.
did.
I ain't mad about that.
Right? The eyes are pretty. They got me. What can I say?
he stole that R2D2 just for you. So.
I know.
Oh, so sweet.
That's
If
so
you thought I
nice.
was done, I'm definitely not done. We still have 2 more stories.
Oh my god.
So this one's really short, but it's so strange I had to put it in, which is that for some reason a video has surfaced of a guest spraying canned cheese on Big Thunder Mountain. at
Isn't this a
Disneyland.
trend? It's a trend, right?
This was my question. Is spraying canned cheese in places now a trend? Are we done with Tide Pods?
It is not a trend.
It's not a
can
trend?
It's not a trend. It's not.
No, he was some TikToker or whatever doing it for the lulls, is what I read. But it was
Yeah,
so,
it was like during grad night or something.
ugh,
Oh, even
it
worse.
was so awful, so awful.
Was
To
this
make a
like
mess
a
like
nod to a Goofy movie?
Wait, what was it?
Mm,
He
Sure.
literally just did it just for lulz.
no, it was
Who
to
brings
make like
cheese?
I don't know. But I definitely, if it's a grad night thing, he probably was like trying to make the girl that was gonna give him a hand job later laugh. So he was good. You know what
Nothing says
happens.
love
The
like a
amount
It's
of
grad.
forethought that
Yeah.
has to go into this.
But do you know where it
Oh.
happens the most on grad nights? Monsters Inc. It happens all the
Yeah.
time over there.
Oh,
in
I
DC.
get what the cheese. I get Handy and the cheese whiz. I get the purpose of the cheese whiz. now.
Yeah,
Okay.
see,
That
it
makes
matches.
sense.
Yeah.
That makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It's
Sorry, I had
I mean,
to take you there.
quite the subtle lubricant.
So oof.
The grad
Wow.
nights, disgusting. I would not.
grad nights grad nights are the fucking worst.
Yeah.
Any
totally.
There was
corner?
no reason for that to come back. Period.
No.
Any corner, any dark space, like they will literally be yelling over the radios, like get away from each other, or like you
Yeah,
will hear them
yeah.
on the rides, like they'll stop a ride just
Yeah.
because these kids are disgusting.
But nothing is more traditionally Disneyland than people weirdly humping like on grad night. Like
It
that
happens.
that has been a since the Yippie generation. It's been
It's not even on
important.
grad nights anymore. It'll be grown adults just like humping each other. Like I've had to tell when I was working at DCA, like I had to tell a couple to stop. She was lifting his shirt up. It was nasty.
Whoa.
Come
Oh
on.
my.
Yeah.
I made out with somebody on the Sky Buckets once because it was like 2 minutes of relative
Yeah.
privacy. So.
That makes sense.
Well, that's
I've
fair.
made out on the Skyliner.
I'm happy
Look,
for
Yeah.
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 Look, we all have there is a rule, right? And the rule is you're allowed to do consensual touching at the beginning of Spaceship Earth or in the People Mover. We all know this.
And
Correct.
Skyliner if you're the only one
beginning
on
of
there.
Spaceship
Yeah.
Earth.
But everyone gets a little squeeze. It's usually
Yeah.
just a gentle little like, "Hello, I'm still here," but you know.
Yeah.
Nathan,
That's the purpose.
Nathan, give me a little butt cheek squeeze going on to Guardians. It was nice. It was,
I
it was a
did.
bro moment.
Yeah.
It was a bro moment. It was a little bromance moment.
Yeah.
He just wanted
Can
you
I
to know he
just-
was there.
Can I
Just wanted
just
to
say
give
that? Thanks, Nathan. I knew
Yeah.
you were there. You're always in my heart.
Aw.
but
and,
can I-
and slightly on your butt. Okay.
It's like just a little. But can I say about that cheese event and
Yes.
watching that video of that kid getting the lulls with? I have never felt older and more
Mhm.
like get off my lawn.
Yeah,
Than
totally.
that moment.
Mhm.
It made me so angry.
Yeah. It was one of those moments where like there have been times where I've wanted to punch people for cast members.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
this
that's
was
where
one of
I,
them.
you know, where
I
was
just
like,
know he's like the guy that like buys the cowboy hat and the Sully tail and walks around just because he like thinks that he's like the funny one in the group. I just
Oh, Sarah, I got the
know it.
tea.
totally.
You
Because
know,
I cussed this kid out. First
Oh,
off, he's
tell me
yeah,
more.
I cussed him out. So I duetted his video, and to start, he called me a Karen. The irony of that was not
Of
lost
course,
on
of
me.
course.
Then found out
Some casual misogyny. Start there.
20, like not even in his 20s yet.
of course.
Oh,
Oh
child.
yeah, of course.
And then just had like all of his friends just like bombing everyone's videos that was just like chastising him and just calling them Karens. I'm just like the childishness of this.
Yeah.
real.
Grow up.
It's just
I'm
so
more
stupid.
weirdly, I am more interested in people like that being banned from Disney than people getting slapped by their husband. I don't know why. but there's
Especially
just a
like
level of
in the back of the
disrespect.
head. Like, come on. Like every
Yeah.
once
back
in a
of the head,
while, your
though?
spouse earns a smack to the back of the head.
She was really arrested for just a
And
little,
then-
you know.
Yeah.
She got
Yeah.
trespassed,
Well, I think she
right?
also spit at him.
Oh, okay.
I think there was a lot of loud language.
Yeah.
But also they decided to do that in front of people. My point is I get when people get mad and hot and like, you know, kind of interfere, but I don't love when people are like, look at me, I'm going to do something.
Yeah.
I'm going to climb on the Mexican pavilion or
Oh
whatever.
God,
you know.
yeah.
Ugh.
That was
That's
the
the
beginning
stuff.
of the end.
Speaking of someone who's exactly like that, and this all ties back in, and we mentioned the Beauty and the Beast part earlier. This is a weird one. So the Enchanted Rose, which is of course at Disney's Grand Floridian, is sort of this intimate little fairy tale bar. And at 10:30 p.m. on May 5th, a 25-year-old man and his friends ordered drinks and were pretty friendly at that point, but they had gotten basically kind of sloshed, and they kept ordering drinks, and they finally got cut off. Now, first of all, I don't need to tell you how expensive Enchanted Rose drinks are. I mean, you're talking
Right.
$25 a drink.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful place, and I had a great French 75 there, but yeah,
Ooh,
I mean, it's
fancy.
crazy. So what's nuts is he then gets cut off, and the bartender cuts them off. The wait staff, the server says that they've been cut off, and then the 25-year-old gets up and starts repeatedly yelling, "You aren't my mom. You can't tell me what to do."
That's so
Um,
embarrassing.
It's so embarrassing.
Sounds like
It's
you
very
could make that a sound for TikTok.
Yeah, gets very close to the server's face, is very aggressive, grabs her by the arm, then says he didn't do that. He's he's not, he's a mean drunk, clearly.
Oof,
Um
the worst.
the worst.
Oh,
But
boy.
I do love that he said that. And then when he got kicked out, of course, he said he was going to return the next night and show videos of the expensive cars he had. So
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Not the cars.
The
yeah,
cars.
he was
No one
gonna
wants to see your
prove-
souped up Honda Civic, okay? No
Yeah.
one cares. Please.
Well, clearly he has some money because he was there a week later too, and his family was still staying there. So maybe this was night one, and this was kind of the end
Oof.
of
Oh.
the trip.
Oh,
But
man.
a long
So
trip.
they have money.
Yeah, if you're staying with Grand Floridian for a week, you have money. Which explains
And
that you
getting
are not my
wasted
mom.
off Enchanted Rose.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
So he went back in and acted like nothing was wrong. And they didn't even talk to him. They just alerted the police, and the police came and got him. And he was like, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about," and then like admitted to it, but he won't talk about it. So
Wait,
he's not.
he grabbed a cast member and he wasn't arrested?
Well,
he
the
has
sheriff's
money.
office. He has money.
Yeah,
First of all.
yeah.
He refused to
Like
talk.
he's probably got connections.
The sheriff's office submitted battery charges to the state's attorney's office, but so far he's not been charged with a crime. So there has been stuff submitted, but
sounds about white.
sounds
Yeah.
about white. You'd have to tell me.
Yeah.
Sounds about
Yeah.
white and rich.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
Yeah. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen. Things are nutso out there. And people are losing their minds. But if it makes you feel any better, none of that stuff happened this week. It just all got reported this week. So we've been crazy for several months.
Yeah.
But there you go. That's Beware Our Guest, a big, massive addition.
All righty. Now we're going to move on to a brand new segment that we are coming back for the day after we finish recording. So hi, I probably said different microphone. Hello, it's Dave again. We're calling this, because the first time we've done this, where there was so much news Friday morning, we're like, wait, we want to put it in this week's podcast. So Nathan and myself and Sarah are back today, and we're calling this a brand new, drum roll, a new segment for our podcast, Last Minute Magic. We have 3 ginormous pieces of news that we thought were worthy of talking about on this week's cast. So we're back, and I'll start. The first one is finally officially announced. The replacement for Splash Mountain at both Walt Disney World, Magic Kingdom, and Disneyland here in California is going to be called, drumroll please, we all know it's based on Princess and the Frog, but the name of the attraction is Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Womp womp.
I'm glad the focus groups figured that one out. Good job.
Because that's the thing, right? Like, having gone through so many naming exercises professionally in my career, it always boils down to marketing sort of like putting their foot down.
Doesn't it feel like an SEO title? It's like we need to make this as search optimized as possible. Like, because the full title is like Princess and the Frog, Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a Star Wars story. I mean, like, there's just so much to it.
A Splash Mountain story. That's what
There
you
you go.
need to put on the
episode
end.
1. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Splash Mountain, the whole mountain range thing is clever, but not necessarily modern, right? That's a nostalgia thing,
Right.
that they stick to that, and they haven't kept it going, really. I mean, after Splash Mountain, when was the last time we had a new mountain attraction? We're not calling it Tron Mountain, right? Like, it's
Tron Mountain.
or what's the Grizzly Gulch coaster in Hong Kong that didn't get a mountain thing to it. So, like, I get people loving the Splash Mountain name, but I would not have kept it either. I just don't know if Tiana's Bayou Adventure is anything more than strategic branding, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know.
Couldn't it have been like Bayou Splash? Like,
well, okay, so we know what the plot is now too, which is they're gathering ingredients for a Mardi Gras party. So that's why they're in the swamp. They're getting ready for a big Mardi Gras, which of course is going to be at the end at the riverboat scene that we get after the drop. So my guess is, this is what my initial thought is of this story, right? Is it's going to be, you're going to go help Tiana get in the swamp to get some stuff. You'll probably meet Mama Odie, and then of course there's going to be something bad, and then you drop down the falls, right? That's kind of the idea. And then you have, we're safe, we're gonna have a Mardi Gras party. That seems like what it's going to be. So why don't you call this thing Mardi Gras Falls? Or, like, I don't like Mardi Gras Mountain at all, because it's not a mountain, it's a bayou.
No.
But like Mardi Gras Falls makes sense, or Mardi Gras Splash, or just something. Like, this is
Mardi Gras sounds like a party.
Yeah, right. And it's weird because it feels like the new mantra is, oh, well, people won't go on it if it's not named a thing they know, which is so stupid because they're already paid for going to the park. Like, they're gonna ride anything that's in the park. That's what you do when you're paying $10,000 a day or whatever it is now. Feels like it, and you can only ride 2 things anyways because Disney Plus Magic whatever is not working. Like, you're gonna ride whatever you can get on, so it doesn't matter.
At this point, it just feels like they have like some sort of algorithm or like formula to name their rides. Like, it'll be main character's name, main thing, so like whatever, and then adventure. So like Remy's Ratatouille Adventure, like, and then Tiana's Bayou Adventure. So like for whatever next ride it'll be, I don't know, it'll be Tron Bicycle Adventure. Like, I don't know, like that just feels like the formula that they're using for all of their new rides.
Oh, Tron Light Cycle Adventure makes me so sad. You're not wrong, but this is, I mean, I don't want to say that adventure is not a title. There was a great Twitter feed by La Parkorama on Twitter, and he went through and put all the adventure ones. So Indiana Jones Adventure, right? But they have Temple of the Forbidden Eye at least. E.T. Adventure, Amazing Adventure of Spider-Man, Ratatouille the Adventure, which is the name of it in Paris. It's Ratatouille the Adventure. California Adventure, The Adventures of Curious George, American Adventure, Ariel's Undersea Adventure, Ellen's Energy Adventure, Misadventure Falls, Islands of Adventure, River Adventure, Adventure Through Inner Space, Adventures by Disney, which is a company they have, right? Star Tours The Adventure Continues, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure, Up A Great Bird Adventure, Web Slingers A Spider-Man Adventure.
Oh man,
Adventure's been around, but
that's a comprehensive list. Thank you, Parkerama. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't even know Web Slingers had adventure in the title. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, that's the
There's
thing.
so many adventures.
We're gonna call this thing Tiana's. I mean, that's what everyone's gonna call it.
Princess and the Frog Ride. They're gonna call it
Princess and the Frog Ride. Yeah,
they're gonna call it the Princess and the Frog Ride. That's what it's gonna be. I mean, I will give them one thing. Like, thank goodness that they're fighting against putting the word ride on things, because I'll tell you, I fought tooth and nail at Universal not to call it Men in Black the Ride. They wanted that so bad. and we all of Universal Creative, and I had Phil had him on my side. We were like, no, this can be. You're going to show pictures of this every time you advertise it. We don't need to tell people it's a ride. So Alien Attack was a fight. Trust me.
Well, it was worth it. You get alliteration, which we love.
Thank you.
And you get a rhyme. It's just the best.
Mardi Gras Madness, Mardi Gras Splash, Mardi Gras Mayhem.
I mean, I don't like Bayou Splash because bayous don't really splash, but like Bayou something, like anything. Like, this is just so lame.
So Victoria couldn't make it for today. She's actually heading over to Florida, but she did want us to read this quote from her. And she says, so she says, I cannot wait to see Splash Mountain one last time, mainly so I can give it the middle finger. Opening the door to representation is far more important than living in the past of harmful African-American stereotypes. Fuck that mountain. And I honestly couldn't agree more. Well, I think that Splash Mountain is a fun ride. The history behind it and the ride itself, and the people that are such Splash Mountain purists, like, y'all are racist. Like, I'm sorry, like, there's just no way about it. So I think I'm glad that we're finally getting some sort of representation in the parks, and in a meaningful way of having it be an actual massive ride, not just the little, rinky dinky, like I said, Tiana's Mardi Gras party in the corner over there. Like, it's an actual ride.
Right. Huge attraction. So, can we reply to those purists with the hashtag fuck that mountain? Like, I really, really like that. That's a great quote.
See, I really do wonder how many people knew that it was about, like, the Song of the South. Like, how many people really, because I didn't know that up until a few years ago. Right. Like, it doesn't have Song of the South everywhere. Like, it's such an obscure movie at this point, and it's not really even played anymore. Like, you can't really find it. So I do think it's on Disney Plus now, but with a warning, or like
Is it?
No, it's not.
A disclaimer.
No, it's not. No, that's what I was going to.
Okay.
That's what no. It's never been up. So this is what I was going to say. I actually own a laser disc of this movie that was released in Japan in the 80s. And which is awesome, because the songs are actually not only is there a dub track of the dialogue, the songs are dubbed except for lines like Zippity Doo Dah, which is sung in English, which is great, but the rest in Japanese. And, like, I bought it in the 80s because I'm an animation nerd, and the animation in that movie is from a very specific era of animators, and it's some of the best the studio ever produced, and I got it for that. But even then, it was like, and it's not, here's the thing, and this is my white privilege speaking, I will completely cop to this. When you watch the movie objectively in terms of just a story, don't think about history now, think about when it was told then. The parents of the movie, the white parents of the movie, are the worst people in it. Like, Uncle Remus is actually a very, very kind character to these kids. Is it a stereotype? Yes, 100%. 100%. But it's this very genteel, unfortunately for the time, take on that subject, and it's wrong now, but it's like there's a historical reason for it to exist, which I completely support. And Disney actually produced and never released a DVD of this. I had a friend who worked as a producer on the behind the scenes stuff, and there was a whole thing where they were going to code the DVD evidently, so you had to watch it. It was at the beginning of the movie, you couldn't skip it. This, like, 10 or 15 minute, I think, panel discussion with with Maya Angelou and Whoopi Goldberg and, like, black film film studies people and historians, and, like, to say, here's what this was and why and what you're about to see. And which I commend. And then there was a whole documentary about the making of it and the animation, and they ended up scrapping it entirely and not releasing it because they realized even with that context, it's why are we showing this?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because
other than nostalgia.
Yeah, Whoopi was a part of, if I remember correctly, the Tom and Jerry re-release, because they had a bunch of Tom and Jerry cartoons that the adult legs, which, as you know,
Yeah.
all these old cartoons, there was like an adult, but all you ever saw was legs, was a pretty much a mammy stereotype.
Mhm.
Yep.
And they redid her
Yeah.
lines, and they re-released them because all you saw were her feet, so you could just redo the lines and kind of redo it. But she came out and was like in the introduction for that and everything. So I remember that period of digital media, or that physical media, where it was sort of like, we're gonna bring these things out, but we're gonna have context, and that's interesting that it almost happened. My thing again is like, no matter where you stand on Splash Mountain, it's they were never going to name this thing Splash Mountain, a Song of the South adventure, right? Like, they never will acknowledge that it's part of the same thing. And that's a weird dissonance to have. So like, even if this movie, let's say Song of the South, was completely fine and it was not offensive, no one talks about it anymore, right? Like, it's not,
Yeah.
no one really loves that property. It's sort of like, I don't know. I like, we love the Three Caballeros, but we have no connection with their original film, right? Like, necessarily. And it's sort of like that same thing of, well, I don't know, like, it's fine, but whatever. We'd probably be getting rid of this anyway, right? Like, it's one of those things where it just makes logical sense to move forward and do something different. So maybe have a better name, but again, we're all excited for it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of moving forward into the future, Tomorrowland has got a couple of big updates. Sarah, why don't you start with yours first?
Yeah, so just in time for its 47th birthday, the People Mover has a new narrator. So we have a new narrator that has been released, I believe, today. And it is for the first time since 1994, with a lot of references to 1994. There has been a lot of changes where they will say things like, the narrator will ask for guests to keep their hands, arms, feet, and other appendages inside the vehicle. So
Tentacles,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought was kind of cool, because it could it's also very for, I don't know what's the word, inclusive for people who might have disabilities, and they will maybe be like wearing prosthetic legs. So that could be, I thought that was maybe like something like a nod to that. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh,
maybe I'm
maybe.
reaching. And they're also saying to supervise younger beings. I don't know if this is because I don't really know a lot about the People Mover. It was before my time, unfortunately. So it seems like there's a lot of changes with nods to the 1994 version.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Sorry, you're
Since
showing your
you
West Coast
probably already-
ignorance.
I really am, because
Yeah.
I wish we had the People Mover so
Oh.
bad. But no, they had to. Disney just had to fuck it up and say, "Fuck you, People Mover West Coast."
There's not a lot of rocket rods out there, but if you go to my YouTube, I actually have a full ride through of it that I shot.
Really?
That I shot on a digital camcorder back in the 90s, and it's terrible. It's just like, because they used the existing People Mover track, but did a fast ride, and none of those supports could do it, so they had to slow down around corners because they couldn't bank anything. They if they wanted to make it fast and thrilling, they were going to have to change all the track. So it just was a bad decision. I'm a huge proponent of rides in theme parks that are purely for the benefit of seeing the park, like slow scenic rides, like the train or the sky buckets or the Skyliner.
They're literally the best rides in the parks. Like, they really are.
And they're being taken out of a lot of parks left and right for a lot of reasons. I mean, throughput. Sometimes it's, in the case of the sky buckets, it's ADA access, right? Which is why the new Skyliner transport is why they're so huge for that reason. But like,
it's also wild to have sky buckets, like, in general.
Yeah, I miss those attractions. So that whenever I go to Magic Kingdom, People Mover is high on my list to go on.
Yes.
It always is. You said, Nathan, it's the best ride in Tomorrowland, don't you?
It's the best ride in Tomorrowland. There's a great Disney Dan video. If you guys know Disney Dan, he rode.
Yeah, I love Disney Dan.
He rode the People Mover all day. So they basically just let him stay on, and you get to see him slowly drop into madness. So it's wonderful. But no, yeah, right. I love this. It's got the TTA Blue Line reference. I love the reference to that. I love that they mention later on, like in the safety announcement, that if you have wings, jetpacks or gravity polarizers, to make sure not take the flight. Not take flight while on board. Of course, if you have wings, is a reference there to the old attraction. Great. And I like having Aurak back. I like this like middle road they're finding between going full 1994. Like, it was like, if you guys remember the 94 Tomorrowland, it's very much like a Batuu light. They really tried to make everything connect, and
Yeah.
working out, and then slowly it's been like losing it. So I don't mind this. I think this is a nice way to attach things together and put it. So we knew this was coming because they announced needing a voice for it. I've listened to it a couple times now, and I think it's Dave Holmes. If you know Dave Holmes,
Oh,
it sounds exactly like Dave Holmes.
I'm friends with Dave Holmes. I will ask him.
Please ask him because I was wondering if there's a connection there, because I know that you have friends that know him. So I mean, you listen to it and you let me know if you think it sounds like Dave Holmes before you bother him. Because
yeah,
there's just a little bit there where like intonations and stuff that I was like, I think this is, but I don't know why he would do a cold call read. I mean, he's a writer, he does other things, but who knows? Maybe he decided to do this thing. But anyways,
wild.
Not,
okay, now I can't wait. And I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah. So I think so anyway. We'll find out.
All right. Well, our last thing in Tomorrowland, Nathan, is another big addition. And
Yas, honey, it's a glow up.
Glow up. Wow. Can you do that again? Can you?
I need to hear that again, please.
I need to hear that again. Can you say that again?
Sure. Yas, honey, it's a glow up.
Okay, that's good. Great. And by the way, there are variants to that. You can say henny instead of honey. Yes, henny, or queen, obviously. So any of those are appropriate, just so you know.
Thank you. First of all, I feel like I'm going to say that was some straight stereotyping there. I know henny. I know things. I made choices.
Hunty.
Hunty is right. That's an advanced level. Hunty. That's an advanced level.
Hunty is advanced.
Hunty is advanced. So
next Pride Month, Nathan. It's okay.
Yeah, see, guys, it's July 1st now. So this is a recording. We recorded on June 31st. Now it's July 1st. So, like any corporation, I don't have to yas anything for at least another year.
I just totally gaysplained to you.
You did gaysplain. Rude.
Dave, how does that privilege feel?
Oh, my gay privilege? Yeah, well.
Oh, I feel so oppressed over here. I'll tell you that much. Culture is.
Yeah, Nathan's getting oppressed by the white gay man and the black woman.
Yeah, culture's flying me by. I need to go watch a Gina Carino movie. This is enough. Okay. Anyway, yes, the last big update is to a big old Carousel of Progress glow up. The future finale. All of the characters in that finale, the Christmas finale, have gotten new clothes and new hair. Everyone's looking real good now, everybody. Grandpa's got himself a new sweater. The daughter has a Progress Tech shirt. It's like a hoodie she's wearing. And it says School of Urban Planning, which I thought was really cool. I don't know, Dave, you look at this. So you look at the original, they have, WWNT, of course, has an article on this, and you look at the original, she's wearing sort of a pink sweater, and she's got ski boots, it looks like. Right. And this new one, she's sort of got like this. Now I'm speaking out of turn, but those boots, they're like mountain boots. I'm getting lesbian vibes now from Daughter on Progress Carousel. We've got a nice hoodie. She's very excited about these big boots.
Well, she is in college, right? So maybe it's
some experimentation.
Starting to broaden her horizons. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. She's planning, there's a lot more than just urban planning going on at that college.
She's the progressive queen of the family. She's definitely yelling with her grandpa. Yeah, over politics.
No, we love no. They're a progress family. We love them. I'm not having. Don't you? That's like breaking up something in my heart. Don't you say that this family fights? I don't know. This doesn't happen.
Okay. All right.
Biggest glow up. Well, no, I'm not gonna say biggest glow up, but Grandma finally doesn't look like absolute trash. She looked awful in the original one.
She had the frumpiest dress on, and now it's like she's like styling.
Terrible.
The
now
hair
she's looking
was
good.
Like a bird's nest. And it's
now she looks a little bit like Helen Mirren, and I'll take it.
I will absolutely take that. Yeah.
We have some great references here. The son is sort of dressed in a better non-90s striped shirt. There's references a couple of them are wearing reindeer, the reindeer from the classic Christmas parade, one of them with its tongue out, slippers, which are pretty cool. The father has got a new look too, and his apron says "My food rocks," which is a reference. It's weird to have a old Epcot reference in the middle of Tomorrowland, but it clearly is. But here's the thing. I want you guys to look at that, look at photos of father and tell me he does not. His new hairstyle doesn't make him look exactly like Norm Macdonald. He looks exactly like Norm Macdonald.
You're right. It's kind of creepy, actually.
Yeah, you can't unsee it once you see it, folks.
No,
and then mother is still wearing her scarf because hell yes. But she's got sweet glasses. And her hair is now up in a bun kind of thing, and she's looking good. She's looking like a real entrepreneur. She's got her, her Scentsy candle stuff figured out, and she's working
She's
on that.
definitely a publisher.
Oh
But-
yeah,
She's got her things going.
Yeah.
But like, but why are the computers and laptops and VR helmets still like decided
Yeah.
in 1994?
That tree
mean-
is peak Sears catalog 92.
Yeah.
The
And
kitchen just needs to change overall.
yeah,
It's
I
just
think
old.
I
Old
think we're
appliances.
seeing. Yeah, I think this is all being done in the evenings, right? And I think I would not be surprised if before our next podcast comes out, there's even more changes to this last scene. Yeah, and they're not upgrading anything until they get rid of the line, "You didn't even have a car phone." So until that line goes away.
Car phone, kids. There used to be a time.
Yeah. Well, the problem
Come
with
children, come children, and sit around the fire while I tell you about car phones.
Yeah, the
Car
problem
phones
with
are such a good idea, though. Like, it's such a good idea. I think we need
Yeah.
to have that today because my phone dies all the time.
the problem,
Yeah.
of course, with this scene is it's not the future anymore. It's basically the present, and it's
Yeah.
still 2010 in aesthetic. So
Yeah.
I hope they keep moving forward with this one. But
Well, it'll be a post-apocalyptic scene if they really want to update it correctly. So
oh boy. Well, ladies and gents, we're out here trying to get some gas and sold mother off to the battle dome so we can have some turkey.
can we please,
Patricia is
Nathan? Can you and
having-
I? Can you and I just write that and record it and dub it over the scene?
I'd be more
Can we
than
just-
happy to.
That would be. That'd be great.
We do have one more piece of news that just got released, and this is attached to something we were talking about last night during our recording. Is we have more information about the $5,000 Kyber crystal cocktail and
Oh,
why
right.
you're paying
Yeah.
$5,000.
Yeah.
So we'll end on this because I wanted to make sure we connected this. So the drink is 4 drinks / cups. So the cocktail is Camus Cognac. Where am I? I'm losing my mind. I can't say it. Someone say the
Cognac.
word. Cognac. Why can't I
Cognac.
say it? Sometimes you can't say it until you hear it. So it's 4.16, I guess is what, I don't know what that means, but it's yuzu and kumquat. And then Grand Marnier looks like they're like high-end version.
Yeah, it's the high-end Grand Marnier. Yeah, like all of those boozes that they mentioned, just so everybody knows, are like super top shelf. Like
Yeah.
very incredibly top shelf.
So you get a cocktail and then you get 3 shots. The 3 shots are Pappy Van Winkle's Family Reserve. That's 23-year-old bourbon. Taylor's Kingsman Edition Very Old Tawny Port, and let's see here, Watanashi Gin. So those are the 3.
Ooh.
Also, you get all of these cups are silver plated, and you get to keep all 4 of the cups. You also get a Star Wars backpack, a water bottle, and some other gifts, and a hyperspace themed room decoration.
So just for reference, just so everybody knows, just that gin alone, Watanashi gin, a small bottle of it, like 750 milliliters. So we're talking like this big, tiny
Right.
little half bottle, is $2,600.
Okay, maybe this is a
So-
deal.
So so these ingredients are not just your average cocktail. These are things that like cocktail nerds like salivate about.
Well, that's cool. at least.
That bourbon is a really good one. It has the dumbest name, but it's really quite renowned.
You also get a bottle of sparkling wine from Skywalker Ranch, and you get a
Cool.
voucher good for one person to visit the ranch. So,
I love that. I thought that was such a great detail, but like one person.
Yeah, it's weird.
No,
it's weird.
I thought it would be 4 because
Right.
it's
At
like, isn't
least.
it 3 shots and
3 shots
one
and a cocktail.
Or maybe I guess 3 people. Like,
There's
Yeah.
probably an
Yeah.
upcharge. It's probably like when you call to book it, they're like, and you ask for more people, like, oh, that will be another
Sure.
$1,000 a person. Like, screw that. But
Yeah.
still, I mean, just
It's easier
the
just to
allure.
know somebody at Skywalker.
right. Like, okay. I mean, I think that's an interesting perk. It doesn't make it any less like, oh, this is for the beyond 1%ers,
Of
but at least
course.
it's not just the drink.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, of course, is the Cam Tano, the thing that holds it, does not come with it, so you do not get to have that. So that's
you
kind
don't
of a
get the
bummer.
ice cream maker?
No, you don't get the
That's
ice cream
sad.
maker. It's kind of weird. I feel like just give. I mean, at that price point. But hey, I'll say this. I still think it's as Dave, as you said, I think it's kind of a high end deal. But I mean, you get a tour Skywalker Ranch. Okay, like
All right.
there's something to it. Like you probably be paying the majority of that just for a tour of that place.
Yeah.
Whatever they're doing. So,
Right.
okay, sure.
But I feel like that Skywalker Ranch like little tour is one of those things that you kind of forget about. It's like when you like get a voucher and you just like you have that Groupon in the back that you're like, dang, it's gonna expire soon. I really gotta go. But like you just don't go. You know what I mean? Like that's just I have like a massage that I should have gotten a month ago, but it's still sitting there.
Saara,
It's a
you
great
gotta
deal,
understand.
but it's just I don't know.
Saara, Star Wars fans that buy a $5,000 Star Wars cocktail aren't going to forget about Skywalker Ranch. All right.
I guess that's true. Yeah.
I mean, you still got to fly to Northern California, right? Like it's still there's airfare involved if you don't live there. You know.
Yeah, I think they
You gotta
figure
get
at this
the
point.
hotel, the taxi, everything.
I don't think they're worried about any of this. You bought a $5,000 cocktail. I don't think they're worried about this. So there you go. There's updates and new information and a little last minute magic there for you.
And the last minute magic. So there's some last minute magic. Thanks for listening. As always, Rat Castle is produced by the incredible Nathan Hartman. Please consider subscribing so you don't miss an episode, and tell all of your friends how awesome we are. You can check out our website at ratcastlepodcast.podbean.com. Send us questions at bit.ly/ratcastle. Please send us questions. We're getting lonely over here. We love reading viewer mail. We love reading your compliments and your complaints and your weirdness. Please send us stuff. And with that, please grab your belongings and exit to the left.
Will you stop this foolishness?
What foolishness would you like to see?
Will you get out of here?